Turn the page, live your life every day. Don't let anybody.
Hey, Mike Foster here. How you doing? You know, as you can see from the intro, this is about surviving tragedy, and by the time this video airs, we're going to be close to 1 year since those devastating fires in Northern California killed hundreds of people and displaced tens of thousands of people. And in a way, it kind of changed my life, my family's life, my wife and I, and my mother-in-law's life forever. And, you know, there's tragedies all the time. I mean, there's shootings, there's just a horrible hurricane in the Bahamas that is devastating. A couple years ago was Puerto Rico. There's always something. The key is surviving tragedy. The key is being able to do everything you need to do, understanding that it's going to take a lot of time and you have to do the right things to survive any kind of tragedies. And this can be any kind of thing that happens to you in your life. There's adversities all the time. It could be the death of a loved one, could be anything. But I'm going to focus on all the things that my wife and I and my mother-in-law did to survive the tragedy of having to rebuild basically a life you had. We'll tell you a few stories about it. I'll tell you a little history. We had a beautiful home. I used to call it an idyllic situation. My wife and I had our dream house. The house had everything that we wanted. I had my library. We both worked at home. We had offices. We had a privacy. We could afford it. It was in a gorgeous neighborhood. My mother-in-law lived about 20 minutes from us in the foothill community of Paradise. She had her own place. She could drive. It was very senior-friendly. My wife and I had lived there for 20 years. It was a place that we thought we were going to live for a long time. Then, you know, on November 8th, 2018, it happened. Not just our life, but hundreds of thousands of people's life changed forever. The fire was a spark from probably blame it on the power people at PG&E. They didn't maintain one of their transformers, and it was a perfect storm. It was 9 months of no rain, drought conditions. The winds were high that day, and 95% of Paradise burnt down. And again, what we did to survive, and that's the focus of this video, is we had to make some decisions, my wife and I. They were very difficult, including my mother-in-law. We first sold her place because she had smoke damage in it. It didn't burn down, but it was smoke damage, and it was surrounded by debris and toxic. The water's bad up there. So we had to decide that we were leaving the area. Had to sell her place. Then we put our place up for sale. She had to come live with us. We sold our place. We put all that in storage. I had this place here in Las Vegas that we're at. She had to come live here, the mother-in-law. Long story short, after almost a year, we finally, she had health issues. She had to be on oxygen. Not sure if it was related to the fire. I know she's had some heart issues. But she ended up going into a extended care facility. And we're in the process of selling this place and starting a new life in southern Utah. Ongoing saga. But it wasn't that easy. I summed it up in 2 minutes. Having to coordinate all of that, having to leave your friends in a community that you've been there for 20 years. We're very blessed that we have work-at-home jobs, so we didn't have to worry about work. We're also lucky that my mother-in-law has a good pension. So finances weren't the problem, but money's important because it can solve a lot of problems. But even with money, you have to deal with the emotional side of things. The relationship with my wife and her mother was strained, pushed beyond all challenges in their 50 plus years together. It seems to have survived it pretty well, but there was a lot of tough talks, critical conversations that no one likes to have, but we all did as a family. My wife and I, we had our ups and downs, we had our challenges, but the key was trust, the key was patience, the key was communication, and that final ingredient was what? Love. If you love each other, and you know that everyone has each other's back and we're looking out for each other, even though these decisions are terrible, difficult, and challenging, we got through it so far. So that's an update. That's the way you can survive disaster, not just from fires. Could be any kind of phenomenon out there and any adversity in your life. So think about that one. And if you're going through something like that, reach out to me or work with your family and friends to try to fix it. And keep living life 365. Until next time, peace.
Live life 365.